Can I turn this into a McDonald's hash brown? That's the question. I have found a really good copycat recipe. I will put a link in the description to that recipe I found, because it's slightly different instructions. It's deep frying them when they're kind of ready, but it really is only these 2 ingredients. All right, it's got salt in it as well, but essentially these are the 2 ingredients: corn flour or cornstarch, depending on where you're from, or the humble potato. So come and have a look at the ingredients. Well, you can see them, but come and see them prepped, because I've already kind of got a little way ahead of myself. So come and have a look. So here is my potato. It is what you might call a yellow potato or a russet potato. In this case, it's actually desiree, which I get from my local farm shop. If you're local to Colchester, I highly recommend. I will put the details in my description of Birchwood Farm Shop, because you can get 25 kilograms of desiree for £12.50, which works out cheaper than Lidl's Maris Piper, and these are brilliant potatoes. So I've already washed them, I've already peeled them, and I obviously have already shredded them with a typical shredder, you know, that you might use shredded cheese with. And I've put them in water because that prevents oxidization. That prevents that happening, i.e. turning brown. And the next thing to do is to basically grab that and put that in there to drain off most of the liquid. I do want some liquid, squeezing out as much of the liquid, leaving some, and then transferring it into a bowl, mixing the corn flour in, and then we're going to be basically frying them in the air fryer. So that's really what essentially this is. The recipe I did find is all about deep frying, well, in a sort of 1.5 centimetre, a lot of oil. So let's get cracking and start draining off this these shredded potato and make some McDonald's hash browns. Well, I'm literally just going to sort of grab and pop into here. This is a muslin cover. I usually use this for my yogurt, but it's actually quite perfect for this. So I'm just going to literally drain as much as I can, pop it in. This is about 700 grams. The recipe will be pinned in the comments and in the description. But I've got here roughly 700 grams of potato. Oops, right, there we go. I'm just going to quickly tidy up and then we'll be back for stage 2. Okay, bowl's clean. I'm just going to squeeze these a little bit. We actually are frying these, dry frying next, just to squeeze out as much of the liquid as we can before we put it on the frying pan and fry it for about 10 minutes. Right, next we're going to be frying this, dry frying in the frying pan before we transfer and make a kind of dough with the corn flour. So it's on a sort of medium to high heat. I've let it kind of get hot. If you have a bigger frying pan, that's actually would be great, but my big one has kind of died. So I need to get a new one, but it's non-stick is what you really need. So I'm just going to batch cook these. So we'll just do the first set, then I'll speed it all up. So the recipe said to dry fry for up to 9 minutes until, what did it say, till fully cooked and tender. I've got to be honest, I've never actually fried potato shreds ever, so this is interesting. I'm not quite non-stick. My non-stick is losing its non-stickiness, but I'm going to swap to my actual proper non-stick. It's just a lot smaller because that really isn't working. You can see, look, it's my birthday coming up. I think I might put a family request in for a new frying pan set because that's not great. Right, back to frying again. It will just take a little bit longer because it's all batched, but I'll speed it all up. Wow, tell you what, they don't say anything about it being quite difficult, but you know, this is what trying out recipes for the first time is all about. It's okay, I don't mind being the one to try it. And maybe this will, because I had to transfer that first clump, as it were, it does tend to clump together. I'm not sure what I'm doing quite wrong, but I'm sure I'll be told in the comments. Gosh. Yeah, so it's on 3 temperature wise, medium temperature, and it did say medium to high. You can see the starch coming out of it actually. This is meant to make quite a lot of hash browns, so if it does, that's great for the freezer for when we do have breakfast after I've done a taste test. You know, this could be one of those where you kind of do it when you don't really need them, just to freeze them. It does make a mess though, but mind you, a tiny frying pan isn't ideal. I really need to get some decent equipment. I'm nearly there. Notes. It's said to fry it off for 9 minutes. I'm finding that a bit too long, so because it kind of tends to clump, and you can see it's, yeah, you just got to judge it by eye, and 5 to 9 minutes I'd say. So once I've put that all in this bowl, we'll then mix the corn flour and salt, create a kind of loose dough. Then we're going to lay out parchment paper on a clean surface, pop our dough on the parchment paper and roll it to 1 centimetre thick. It does tend to clump together, but that can't be helped. Hopefully the corn flour will kind of sort that out. It's very messy business. I've been wiping down all the time. But it'd be interesting to see how many hash browns I can make and whether or not all this kind of faff is worth it. At the moment I'm kind of, no. But let's see. Right, let's turn that off. Transfer this to the bowl. Just give it a quick. I'm going to let that cool down a little bit. Ooh, do you see what I mean? Oh, it goes everywhere. It's the starch. Let that cool down and then we'll get to stage 3. Oh, unbelievably, I can't believe it. I am such an idiot. I've added 4 tablespoons of corn flour. Oh, God. Thought I was recording. Of course I wasn't. Honestly, what a doofer. So I've been mixing it for the last 5 minutes, and it's not easy. Can you see that? The corn flour is doing its best to kind of create, well, it's meant to be a loose dough, but you know, this is what it is. So next step is to get this, I mean, I'm actually tempted to do one more corn flour actually. Let's just try that. Excuse my clanging. Gosh, this is, I've added salt as well, all on what I thought was recording, but it wasn't. Wow. I'll be amazed if I actually manage to create some hash browns. This is so, wow. The recipes never tell you about this kind of thing. But hey ho, we're going to soldier on. Yeah, right. Next stage, let's get some parchment paper out. Oh my gosh, I actually hope I have some. No. Oh, right, I'll be back. Okay, I've actually got some, you know when you get your pastry from the ready roll pastry, I always save the parchment paper because I actually have run out of my usual brown. So luckily I had this. I'm weighing it down with baked beans. I don't know if that's enough. I'm actually thinking I'm going to put corn flour on my hands. Let me check your recording because I don't want to make that mistake again. Great, you are. Right, so let's just put a bit of corn flour on my hands. This is going to be messy. Oh man, already. Oh, gee. No, I'm in putting it over that. Oh, silky. Okay, let's try this. So that's effectively dough. The recipe said to roll it out 1 inch thick, so let's try that. I'm just going to clump it together though first. Okay. Actually, it does help the because it was very sticky, so adding a bit of corn flour to your hands really does help. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's keep it kind of squished together. Alright, well this, do you know what, this might work. I kind of use my hands a little bit as well. 1 inch. Not this currently, I think it's roughly a little more like a, not 1 inch. What I'm after is 1 centimetre, but at the moment it looks like 1 inch. Yeah, sometimes even pressing using your hands instead of a roller. God, I can't talk. Instead of using the roller, might work. Where it seems to crack, separate, kind of push it together, a bit like you would with pastry, I suppose. We are kind of compressing it. I'm not sure if I want to make it any thinner. Right, I'm going to try and shape it, because then I'm going to want to create my hash browns. Is it 1 inch? Yeah, centimetre. Why do I keep saying inch? Centimetre thick, I think that's roughly a centimetre. It's kind of like an odd shape. Can you see okay? Yeah, let's just go in for a close. So how many do you reckon I could make? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 6 out of that. It did, I think it said 12. That's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not sure. If it didn't say 12, I'll put the correct number that it said in the recipe. Right. Actually, this is going in the air fryer. I don't need these baked beans anymore. Right, let's cut out our hash browns. See how that goes. It did say to round the edges. I mean, they're not going to be quite. I've got to try and make them into a hash brown shape. Around the edges, or you just kind of use your hands. Right, I'm going to try and create a hash brown shape. These might be a lost cause, these two, for that regard, but it did say round the corners. I don't know why. You can even flatten them a little bit more once they're, you know. So this might have a better chance, and I'm just trying to remember what hash brown is. The shape rather. It's workable though, I must say. See, that's, you know, I think hash brown's a little bit longer, to be fair. Corn flour in my hands helps actually, it does help. Helps. Oh geez. Don't handle them too roughly. Can you even see what I'm doing? Not quite. Okay, I'm just trying to sort of flatten a bit more around the edges. Yeah, so these are going to go in the freezer for a minimum of 30 minutes. I might actually make it an hour before we fry them in the air fryer. That's not looking too bad. It's like a sort of mini hash brown. Right, we'll keep on going, and I'll see you when these are all ready. Do you know what? I'm not actually too unhappy with this. None of them are touching, and I'm going to put them in the freezer for 1 hour, and then they should hopefully be sort of ready for cooking in the air fryer. So I shall see you in 1 hour. Okay, I'm going to preheat the air fryer before I put in the frozen or near to frozen hash browns. It's been an hour. So it's time to kind of get cracking and cook them in the air fryer. The recipe itself was to fry them, shallow fry them in 1.5 centimetres of oil. I think I'd rather do it this way. How they'll turn out, I've no idea. But let's get started. I'm going to put it on the high setting, air fry. It doesn't really matter. I've already sprayed the bottom with oil. The crisper plates are out. So yeah, give it 5 minutes. Preheat, and then we're going to put them in. I'll get them out of the freezer. See you in a minute. Okay, here they are. They're not frozen completely, but well, they're quite firm. So let's quickly chuck them in. I don't know how long these. I don't know how long these are going to take, but we'll kind of keep checking. So I'm going to leave it for 15 minutes, and we'll see whether they need turning. See you in a bit. We need to flip them. There's 5 minutes left. Right, I think we'll definitely flip them. Let's see what they're like on the underside. Yeah, I mean, they're browning on the edges, but not quite. So I think I will add minutes. Okay. So, oh no, 10 minutes. Let's do it for the, yeah, I can't remember how many, yeah, it was just under 5 minutes. So we've just added 10, it's on its highest setting, it's air fried, doesn't really make a difference on this, at this point. Yeah, 400 Fahrenheit that is. So yeah, let's just hopefully, let's see how they turn out. If I have to add minutes, I will. In the recipe, it's set to deep fry for 2 minutes each side. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a slower method. It uses less oil. Right, I'll see you in a bit. 6 minutes have passed, I might flip them. Let's have a look. They are starting to cook, to be fair. I think, you know, if I was ever going to do this again, I would definitely pre-make on the day that I didn't need them. But I'm not sure if I do. I mean, I've got to taste them, and then that would be my decider if I ever do this again. I mean, that looks pretty good. But I kind of see that they're cooking on the outside, not the inside. Now, I don't know whether adding a crisper plate will actually help at this point. There you go, I've added the crisper plate. Whether to do that from the beginning, I'm not too sure, but possibly. They're slightly more raised, so they may cook to the main heat, because obviously the main heat source is from the top, but this does have heating elements at the bottom. So yeah, let's bung them back in and let it carry on cooking. Right, 9 minutes left. See you in a bit. Okay, it's finished. Let's have a look. Oh gosh. Right. Not quite like a McDonald's hash brown, let's face it, but it's all in the taste test. Oh, excuse me, I've just had a coughing fit. Oh dear. Oh my god. Well, at first it looked like they weren't cooking at all, and then they've kind of really, I think changing it, putting the crisper plate in probably changed the dynamics. Wow. Okay, these are going to be quite hot, but let's see, I've got asbestos fingers, so let's just break one open. Yeah, I mean, they look well cooked. It could be, I mean, you know, if they taste all right, maybe not cook them for so long to put in your freezer. For when you do have I don't know, a breakfast, you could, you know, throw them in. Oh, they're hot. They throw them in when you're actually cooking a breakfast. Let's try and break one open. They're too hot. Gosh. Okay, I might leave these to cool for a few minutes before we kind of get into them. Break them open, see what's going on inside. I can only hold them for a few seconds. They are roasting. So yeah, I'll see you in a few minutes when they've cooled down a little bit. Okay, they've cooled down a little bit, but they're still steaming. I just need to see what's going on inside. Can you see the steam coming off that? I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's cooked. We have to go in for the taste test. So let's just go for it. Oh, hot. Very crunchy on the outside, very crunchy. You know, they do taste a little bit like a hash brown. But you know, hash browns from McDonald's are never that brown. So that's what's kind of, they're not as crunchy on the outside. But there is a similarity, there really is. Not sure if I would cook these again. Worth the experiment, it really is, but oh, brown sauce. Oh. No, that's actually really nice. Oh, it's so hot, but yeah. I mean, you obviously, you know, you're having your, well, you've got to eat them as something, haven't you? Oh, hot. I mean, getting onto the inside. Is that looking uncooked? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. In my frying pan I gave it justice because it did say to cook them for 9 minutes and I definitely didn't do 9 minutes. I did more, 5, partly because of frying pan problems, but you know, I tell you what, dipped in a sauce, they're absolutely delicious. I need to look at the recipe and see what I can improve. Definitely a new frying pan. It's my birthday coming up, so, well, in a little while. But I might kind of start dropping hints to the family. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.